Okay, so I'm really going to pound this point home because it matters not only in your running, but in your everyday life, in the way that we manage ourselves, in the way that we approach problems, in the way that we solve problems. And that is about the way that we're breathing. So I'm going to encourage you to breathe through your nose and to intentionally, consciously shift your breathing so that you're breathing low and slow. And we'll continue to talk more about that in the next module. But what I want you to consider right now is that sometimes people will breathe high and tight. So if you go to take a breath, and this is really common, I've asked athletes, like, take a big breath, and they go, and your shoulders come up and you feel all of that like up in your chest, then the good news for you is that there's a lot of upside in reteaching yourself how to use your diaphragm to breathe. Because when we're breathing high and tight, we talked about this a little bit before, you tend to have a higher heart rate, you tend to have more muscle tension, you tend to have more stress and anxiety. And that's because we're in a nervous system state of fight or flight. I mean, if, again, and like this is a tired example, but if you're running from the tiger, you're not likely breathing low and slow. You're breathing, and it's good to have that ability to react in a stressful, dangerous situation when it's necessary. And what's happened in our society commonly is that just because of the way that life comes at us, we don't let go of stress and tension very well. So let's use this as an example. You're driving to work, somebody cuts you off. You get mad and because you almost had an accident, and then you are breathing high and tight, right? Because like that's the natural reaction. So your stress response is turned on. And from that point, if you don't go out of your way to calm yourself down, to recognize, oh, I'm in a stress response right now, and I'm going to choose to not live in that stress response for the rest of the day, then I can shift my breathing, I can go low and slow, I can signal to my brain that everything's safe, because guess what? If I'm running from a tiger, I'm not breathing low and slow because I'm not safe right now. But once you arrive at home and you are safe, then it's like, if you don't signal to your brain that you're safe by switching your breathing into low and slow, then you'll continue to be living in this stress response state. And the degree to which this is common in our society today is unreal. And I don't want to make like a lot of blanket statements, but I mean, the chronic disease that is caused by us living in this state of chronically elevated stress load is pervasive, and it's not that hard to fix. And it's literally just a matter of like, okay, I'm going to become aware of my state right now, and I'm in this state of stress and chronic tension. From that state, and this is what we talked about before with like open mind, like if my goal is to open up my body and relax and be able to perform, when I'm in that stress state and I'm holding on a bunch of tension, I'm not likely to be able to get there. And so as we shift our breathing then to low and slow, and again, you're not doing this in a state of emergency, well, maybe you are, it would allow you to think more clearly if you could, but in the moment when you're like, okay, I'm going to relax myself now, the danger has passed, and I'm going to breathe low and slow, what you'll find is that your heart rate goes down, your muscle tension relaxes, your stress and anxiety is reduced, you're able to think more clearly, you can see things from a different point of view, you might find that you have more patience. And to close this video out, I want to use animals as an example. And so maybe some of you have cats, and I feel like cats are just an excellent example of this. So you watch your cat, and most of the time, your cat is not living in a state of stress. Your cat, most of the time, is like splayed out somewhere, just completely relaxed. His belly is hanging out. It's holding no tension at all. You can pick up a cat when it's relaxed, and it just feels very like limp and loose. And yet, when that cat is ready to pounce, so if the cat sees, like, well, if the cat feels like it's in danger because it just saw a dog, or if the cat sees a bird and it's ready to pounce, it's only at that point that the cat will then go into, on purpose, that other stress state where it says, I need to be on right now because I need to make that pounce or I need to escape the situation. And then the moment that that threat has passed, it lunged at the bird, it missed the bird flew away. Within like 10 seconds, that cat is back splayed out, it's relaxed, its belly is hanging out, and it was able to let go of that stress response. And so my challenge to you to practice this week is to be more like that cat. You can respond to the stress when it comes at you, and then as soon as it's passed, you're going to choose to breathe low and slow and let it pass. I'm back into my recovery state. Being in a recovery state most of the time is where you want to be. We want a healthy human has the ability to pop up into a high stress state and then recover and relax. And that's the whole thing is I don't want to eliminate stress from my life. I want to experience stress. And then because stress makes me better, recovering from that stress makes me better. But that's the whole point. I stress myself out. And when we're exercising, we're likely breathing like a lot higher and tighter than we were at rest. Then intentionally, after your training session is over, you're going to switch yourself back. And now I'm breathing low and slow again. So practice that this week and become aware of your state. Breathing high and tight, breathing low and slow.